Hey beautiful people, this is Becky's Place. You're welcome to today's tutorial, and this is the bag we would be making. So we'll be making a square bag, and I'll be making use of sugar beets. Can you see the sugar beets? Because I'm using sugar beets, I'll be using my .70 fishing line, a pair of scissors, and my tape rule for measurement. So I'm going to use this tape rule to define the square bag I want to make. Let's get started. So you're going to cut a lengthy fishing line. Just cut something you know can be convenient for you to work with. Not too long and not too short. As time goes on, we had fishing line. You cut, set aside. Then you bring your bead closer. What we want to do is called the matting process. 80–90% of beaded bags designs you see around, we use this matting process as the foundation. We use the matting process in making them. You understand? So this is called the matting of 4, and this is how you start. You pick 3 beads. Then you pick the 4th bead. You interlock. This is how to interlock. My bead is on this fishing line this way, facing the left hand side, facing the left side. Then I'm going to pick the next fishing line. I would put it like this. Can you see? One fishing line is facing the right hand side, the other fishing line is facing the left hand side. This is how to interlock. Then I align both fishing line. You have something like this, round of 4. I hope you understand that. So the next step, our fishing line is divided into 2 now. We are going to have one on the right hand side and one on the left hand side. So now this is what you will do. You had one bead on your right, another one bead on your left. Then you pick the 3rd bead. Use it to interlock. This is how to interlock. You put your bead into one fishing line like this. You pick the other fishing line. You make sure it is facing directly opposite like this. This is how to interlock. Then you drag it down. You drag it down. This is what you should have. And mind you, when you are dragging it down, make sure it is very firm. Make sure you tighten it so that you would have a very how will I put it, so that you have a very neat work, and so that your work will not be looking very soft. You understand? The beauty of beaded bags is when it is very hard. When it is hard, the shape would come out, but when it is very soft, the body will just be, dancing. You won't even like it. So we'll continue the process again. One bead on my right, one bead on my left, and the 3rd bead I use in interlocking. Interlock like this. I drag it down. Can you see? You repeat the process again. One bead on my right, one bead on my left, then the 3rd bead I use it to interlock this way. Drag it down. So this is what you would continue till you get to your desired length. Because I want to make a square bag, I want to achieve a 7 inches length. So I'm going to continue with this till I get to that 7 7 inches length. I hope you understand what I'm trying to do here. This is it. So I'm going to continue off camera, and when I get to my 7 inches, I'll come back and show you the measurement. So I've done my marking up to 12 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And when I measure, what I'm getting is 6.5 inches. I want it to be 7 inches. So that means I'm going to be adding one more line to it to make it 7 inches. And that will be the 13th line. This is how to count. You count with the side. 1, 2, 3. You understand? That is how to count your margin. You count with the side. And now I've done 12 lines. I want to make it 13 lines. And this is how to turn. You turn with the last line. I want to turn my fishing line to be on the other side so that I would continue marking to make it wide. And this is how to go about it. On my left fishing line, I'll be adding 2 beads. I'll be adding 2 beads on my left fishing line, and I'll pick the 3rd bead. I would interlock with the 3rd bead. Interlock with the 3rd bead. This is what you should have. If you are not getting this, that means you are wrong. This is what you should have. Your fishing line should fall to one side like this. You can see it has already given us the direction of going upwards. So I repeat the process again. Still on my left hand fishing line, I add 2 beads again. I interlock with the 3rd bead. You repeat that process twice. Just make sure you are adding your beads on the left fishing line so as to get it correctly. This is what you should have. Then you turn like this. Can you see? It has already given us the direction of getting wide. So on my right hand fishing line, I pass. This is what you have. Then on my right hand fishing line, I pass into this next 1 bead beside the right hand fishing line. I don't pick the left one to come and put it here. The fishing line beside it, it is what I'm going to use to pass. My right hand fishing line, I pass into the next one right bead beside it like this. You drop it. Then on your left fishing line, you add 1 bead. You interlock with the 2nd bead. Whenever you are interlocking, make sure you drag it down very well so that your work will be very hard and tight. This is what you should have. On my right hand fishing line again, I pass into this next 1 bead. On my right hand fishing line again, I pass into the next 1 bead like this. I drop it. On my left hand fishing line, I add 1 bead. I interlock with the 2nd bead. The format of marking is that just make sure that you are passing with your right hand and you are adding your bead on your left hand. Once you know this format, it will be very difficult for you to make mistakes. You understand? I'll be passing with my right hand and I'll be adding my beads on my left hand. And also note that whatever fishing line that is beside the bead, that is what you should be passing. There's nothing like I want to jump, I want to skip. This is the next fishing line beside it here on my right hand fishing line. I pass into the next one, I drop it. On my left hand, I add 1 bead and I interlock with the 2nd bead. So that is how you would continue till you get to the very last place here. I'm going to do the rest of camera. So when I get to this very last place, I'm going to show you how to turn back. Let me do one more. On my right hand fishing line, I pass into the next 1 bead. I drop it. Then on my left fishing line, I add one bead. I interlock with a second bead. Please, whenever you are interlocking, emphasis on make it tight so that your work will come out very tight, hard, neat and beautiful. When your work is not hard, when the marking is not hard, the bag will not come out really nice. But when the marking is hard, the bag will come out nice and even lasting. You understand me? So let me do the rest of camera and I'm going to meet you right away. So this is what I have. Then I want to do this last part. I want to turn back. I pass my right hand fishing line into the next one. Then the method is going to change here. I used my right hand in passing into the next right hand bead. Still that fishing line, I'll be adding one bead and interlock with the second bead. I hope you get that. The fishing line I used in passing is the same fishing line I'm going to add my one bead and interlock with the second one, so that my fishing line can fall to this side. I hope it is clear enough. Then you are going to have something like this. You would have something like this. Now, this fishing line on your right hand side, the fishing line facing the back, the fishing line that is at this place, you can see the fishing line I am holding. I'll be adding two beads, interlock with the third bead. Look at what I have. Have you seen it? Then I continue the process of what I've been doing. You can continue like this. You can decide to turn it this way for easy access. I hope you get that. So I continue with what I've been doing. On my right hand fishing line, I pass into the right hand bead. On my left, I add one bead. I interlock with the second bead. I continue again till I get here. I hope you understand. So when I get here again, I'm going to show you one more time to do the turning, so we can do the rest of camera. I hope you understand this process. It's very easy. Just remember the format, the logic. You would understand, you would know it better. Let me know if you have confused about anything. I would gladly answer your questions. Can you see? Let's continue. So let me show you the turning one more time. My right hand fishing line, I pass into the next right hand bead. That same fishing line, I'll put one bead, interlock with the second bead. Then you have something like this. The fishing line at this part, at this right hand side, the fishing line standing outside here, you would add two beads inside that fishing line, interlock with the third bead. You have something like this. Then you just turn it this way so that it can be easier. You turn it like this. Then you continue with what you've been doing. You pass into the next one, add your bead into the left fishing line, interlock. That is how you would continue till you get to your desired length. So I'm going to continue matting. Now this is how I do my own matting. My front, back and the down part, I mat everything, I make it long, then I divide later. So this is what we are going to do. Because this is a square bag, my width is 7 inches, that is 13 lines, and I want my length to be 5.5 inches, so that will be 10 lines. So I'll be having 10 lines at the front, 10 lines at the back, and I want my down part to be 4 inches, which is 7 lines. So that means I'll be marking 10, 10, 7. So altogether I should be having 27 lines. 1, 2, 3. I've just done 3. So I should be having 27 lines. I will continue marking till I get my 27 lines. So when I get there, I'm going to come back, show you how to divide it, and show you how to do the sides. So let me show you how to add a new fishing line and how to tie the previous one. So my fishing line is short to this length. Don't make it too short. You understand? So when you have your fishing line up to this length, it is time for you to tie it. Normally I've passed with my right hand fishing line and I want to add my bead to the left hand side. I had one bead to interlock with the second bead. The second bead I'm supposed to interlock with, I will drop it. Then I pick this fishing line and tie. Don't just tie once, you tie 3 to 4 times, depending on how thick your fishing line is. Then after tying, this is what you should have. Don't make your tying too obvious. Then after tying these 2 fishing line, I'll be passing it into the next bead beside here. I won't pass it here. In matting, there's something we call straight passing. In matting, don't do straight passing, it will disfigure your work. So don't pass straight, don't pass on a straight line. The way our round of 4 is kind of coffee, it has this circle shape. So also your passing should have this circle shape. So I'll be passing my next 2 fishing line into this bead here. Then I drag it so that my tying can enter into the bead. So I have my 2 fishing lines here. I tie again. 1, 2. When you are tying, make it very tight. 3, 4. Then I pass again. I don't do straight passing. I come to this side. I pass to this side. It should be coffee, just the way your round of 4 is coffee. Then when you are tying, don't just tie once and stop. You should tie like 3, 4, 5 places so that you would have a long lasting bag. So this is the third time I am passing and tying my work. I'm going to do the next one. I pass here again. I hope you understand. Can you see? This is the fourth one. And after tying, make sure you drag your fishing line so that at least your tying can enter into the next bead, so that your work will be neat, so that the tying will not be really obvious. This is the fourth time I am tying. So I think I am satisfied now. Make sure you tie up to 4 to 5 times, like you pass and tie up to 4 to 5 times. Then the rest of the fishing line, this is how you will do it. You don't just cut. You don't cut where you tie, because it will loosen up at the end of the day. So this is how to avoid losing up. So you pick your fishing line, you pass. I pick one first. I pass round. Can you see the way I am passing? I am not doing a straight passing. I am passing round. The way the matting is coffee, that is how my passing is. Then I pick the next fishing line. I do the same thing, but I make sure that, the first one I passed it to this upper part. This second one, I'm going to pass it to this lower part. I don't want the 2 fishing lines to be on the same spot. So I pass the 2 fishing lines differently. Then after passing to 5, 6, 7 places, I cut. Okay, this is okay. This is also okay. pick my scissors. Whenever you are cutting with your scissors, make sure you use the tip. Normally you are supposed to be using the cutter, but I don't have my cutter here, so I'll be using the scissors. When you are cutting with scissors, don't do like this. You cut with this tip like this. Can you see? Like this. And make sure you do not put your scissors in between your work so that your work would not cut off. So now I want to cut a fresh fishing line, and I had just cut something you can be comfortable to work with, not too long, not too short. I have a new fishing line. Now this is how to add. This place where you interlocked, you pass your fishing line into it. This part where you interlock, you pass the fishing line into it, and you make sure the fishing line align. So you continue with what you've been doing, which is my right hand fishing line. I pass into the next one bead. Then on my left hand fishing line, I had one bead. I interlock with the second bead. So when you are interlocking, make sure your fishing line align, because you are just starting, so that you won't have one long and one short at the end of the day. Can you see? And you continue what you've been doing. I hope you understand that. If there is anything that is confusing about this, kindly let me know and I will gladly answer your questions. So let's continue till we get to the 27 lines. Don't forget I said we are marking 27 lines, 10 at the front, 10 at the back, and 7 at the down. So this is what I have. This is my marking. So I'm going to show you how to divide the front, the back, and the down part, and also how to add the sides and the handle. That will be in the next video.